level of financial education young people get massively depends on where they grow up in the world. Even then, it varies within each country and can often differ from school to school. 10 years ago, Lily Lapenna, the founder of MyBnk, a financial education provider for young people, began trying to change that for schools in England. She campaigned the government to include financial education in the school curriculum.
So in 2011, we got together with a lot of other financial education providers, and we wanted to create systemic change. We felt like if we carried on reaching one young person at a time, we'd never really benefit the whole of the generation. And so we lobbied government for 2 years. We created an all-party parliamentary group. Amazing people were involved, like Martin Lewis, celebrities, big banks, non-profit organizations. And we campaigned for financial education for all secondary schools, state-maintained secondary schools. And, it took a while. It was an incredibly coordinated effort. But in the end, it was achieved. And so to give you an interesting data point, when I started MyBnk, 10% of UK adults had been exposed to any form of financial education. And today, 52% of young people are given financial education. So that's the sort of result we were hoping for. And that is, in fact, what's happening.
MyBnk began in England, but now it works in countries throughout the world. It focuses on providing financial education to young people between the ages of 5 and 25. Lily says it's all about making the world of finance fun. Bringing money to life is their motto.
Money can be such a boring topic, right? You can sort of fall asleep thinking, oh my God, this is about financial education. And here we are creating financial education programs that are based on sports. So we have Sporty Money Twist, which is all like you do sports and you learn about money at the same time. We have MyBnk TV. We have a really blended approach now since COVID, where we're doing a lot of digital learning and a lot of face-to-face learning. And the content is fun, it's uplifting, it's aspirational. And so we find that the levels of engagement are really high and the feedback extremely positive. We do a lot of summer activities with young people. And one summer we were working alongside all these really exciting things like abseiling and canoeing. And at the end of their experience, young people got to fill in a questionnaire. So what did you enjoy the most? And the MyBnk Sporty Money Twist, which is essentially a sporting experience wrapped up with learning about money, came out as their favorite activity. So I thought, gosh, if money can compete with abseiling, that's a really good thing.
So actually, you've proved that money can be interesting for anyone.
I think it can be compelling, right? Because people have so many kind of aspirations around money. What we believe is really important with financial education is to kind of use behavioral science, right? To think about when is it going to be relevant to the young person and why? And we believe in this notion of just-in-time education. So we are giving them education that's going to be relevant to them in that moment of their lives. So when they're very young, it might be things like budgeting for something that they hope to have, or something that they dream to have. As they get older, it's very concrete things like ensuring that they pay their rent on time.
We're talking about the financial exclusion of young people, but does it go further than that? What about young women or young Black and ethnic minority teenagers?
I can comment a bit on the gender element because MyBnk just did some data crunching around what we're calling the youth gender financial capability gap. And so our team went out and crunched data on 3,700 participants between the ages of 11 and 25. And we found that nearly half of the girls, so 43%, were not financially confident, 18% less so than the boys, and 10% more of young women suffered anxiety and depression about money than their male counterparts. So it's interesting to see that we're already experiencing some sort of a gender gap here, which then, as we know, goes on through time, right? Because the gender gap that you experience in financial capability at a young age then becomes that gender gap that you experience in wages at an older age. And so for us, it's really important to start addressing these issues and closing this gap as young as 7, when all of their neurological pathways are forming and all of their associations with money and money habits are starting to form.
Lily Lapenna, founder of MyBnk.